Międzyczas is the second full-length album from Odium Humani Generis, a Polish black metal band, one that is focused on atmospheric, depressive, and melodic black metal for most of their sound. They've brought different increments of those values into their style over time, and on this second record, they're focusing on more of an emotionally resident and less typical form of that as they work beyond their 2020 debut, which was fairly popular and got some notice, but I would say that this step into this record is a little bit less typical in terms of the sort of dark metal component that was found on their first record and their demo more so. They've moved from the sort of droning sway of things to something that is more directive. It doesn't pull into leads as often. They use the bass lines far less often to accentuate what's going on in the music. And so it really has been a change of the guard a little bit in terms of their performance and production values. So this second record is, I would say, decidedly different, but still holds the personality of the first if you're familiar with it. So we'll cut to a song here, and you'll get a sense for what has changed here. And it should be fairly dramatic in terms of their style of presentation now and the way the voicing has changed. The trade-off here on this second album is that we lose a little bit of the uniqueness of the rhythm section for the sake of better thought out and illustrative guitar techniques that bring a more emotional center to the band's work. And how that translates more practically is that there are more riffs on this record. There's also more vocally directive moments, and a lot of it is very dramatic in a different way. And I think that the mood is very low, it's melancholic, and you'll feel that on side A in particular. So there's a strong sense of illustration here. There's an authorship on this record that is more advanced in its innards in terms of comparing the last album to this one. But I think that this will still appeal to the same demographic, the same fan, the same person who'd liked the sound of this band in the first place, but is looking for something that is maybe a little bit more guitar directed, a little bit more willing to push out into different subgenre interests in the band and still find that certain combination of like the places where depressive black metal meets up with gothic metal, with dark metal, and how that can fit into atmospheric and melodic black metal and still sound heavy. And I think the thing that I say here that is probably the most profound is that they haven't necessarily transcended black metal in their songwriting. So this is still a black metal record, but it does feel like this is a band that could take it somewhere else, and they could take it somewhere pretty interesting, but they're not quite on the road there yet. So we do get an album that feels special. It feels like it's memorable, and even if you don't understand Polish, I think you can still get the general emotional resonance of this record by sitting with it and enjoying it. So for that reason, it stuck with me, and I felt like it was worth reviewing. So there's quite a bit more detail in my written review. Definitely check that out. This has been out since September 27th, and it gets a moderately high recommendation from me. Probably a higher recommendation if you are more in tune with the Polish black metal scene in general, and what the country has been putting out has been above average for quite some time. And I think this record will stand out for most people. So check it out if you will.